I want to go through something the 33rd team put out, and I'm going to be honest with you. I like the 33rd team. I mess with them. They always show love
ball
to the
knowers.
Yeah, they do.
Outside of Clay Harbor. Clay Harbor doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's tough. But they also were showing the Lions some love. They had Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown mentioned in some of these graphics they put out. And you could throw either one up, and we'll discuss them here because these both stood out to me. Look at this. NFL MVP pick. They go with Joe Burrow. He's to have plus 700. But look at that. Is this Broder? Is Broder writing for the 33rd team? Favorite long shot, Jared Goff, plus 4,000.
Man, we were just talking about on the hot seat. So what if he wins MVP?
Well, for Jared to win MVP, the pathway is Matty Ice.
Yeah.
That's the
100%.
pathway.
Kyle Shanahan, Matty Ice.
Yeah, and Ben Johnson, I would like to call him, he's a mini little Kyle Shanahan out there with his new offense, making Jared Goff look really well. But Jared Goff's also executing it very well. But plus 4,000, Sam Flannel, those are pretty good odds for Jared Goff.
I think you're honestly just throwing your money away at this point. And I'm not trying to be a dick. This is no disrespect to Jared Goff, but because I'm going to do something with you guys that some of you are going to like and some of you are not, I'm going to get a little granular, as Neil Rule said, because I kind of had to nerd out yesterday when I was doing a little bit of research for this segment. So I want to remind everybody what it takes and what it's historically taken to win MVP in this league. So the last 10 MVPs, AP MVPs, have been quarterbacks. 8 out of those 10 have led their team to the number 1 seed in their respective conferences. And you look at, in 2013, Peyton Manning, he won an MVP with 55 touchdown passes, which is the NFL record for touchdown passes in a season, while they led them to the number 1 seed. Aaron Rodgers has won 3 of those MVPs. In his average MVP season in the last 10 years, his last 3, 41 touchdowns, 4.7 interceptions, while leading the Packers to a number 1 seed twice and a number 2 seed another year in which they tied for the best record at 12-4 but lost the tiebreaker. You even look at Patrick Mahomes. His average of his 2 MVP seasons, 45.5 touchdown passes while leading the Chiefs to the number 1 seed both times. And you look at Lamar Jackson, 36 touchdowns, 6 picks, 1,200 rushing yards, led the Ravens to a 14-2 record.
Yep.
You look at 2015 Cam Newton, 35 touchdown passes, 10 rushing touchdowns, led the Panthers to a 15-1 record. You look at Matt Ryan in 2016. You look at that would be Jared Goff's comp. Matt Ryan, 38 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, while leading the Falcons to a number 2 seed at 11-5.
Number 2.
Number 2. The one I would say, if you want to look at a pathway to where Jared Goff can maybe put up these kind of numbers these next year, maybe 2017 Tom Brady, where he had 32 touchdowns, 8 picks.
Goff and Brady?
32 touchdowns, 8 picks, but also led the New England Patriots to a 13-3 record and the number 1 seed. My point is that Jared Goff is not just going to have to get better next year and the Lions are going to have to win more. He is going to have to go to a level that he has never gone into through his career. And the Lions are probably going to have to win 12 and 13 games, because I've given you the numbers of the past 10 MVP winners, those astronomical numbers, those teams that have won 13, 14, 15 games, number 1 seed, number 1 seed, number 1 seed, number 2 seed. Jared Goff last season, 29 touchdowns, 7 picks, Lions missed playoffs.
Well, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, because I want to try and make this case now, and I'm not saying Jared will win MVP, but I'll tell you the pathway he can do it. Okay? The Eagles, that NFC East, how long has it been since a team has won back-to-back in that division?
It's been like a decade, right?
Right.
Yes.
So if the Cowboys, let's say that the Eagles take a little bit of a dip and they win 13 games, okay? Maybe 12 games. The Cowboys win 12 games. Let's see the Lions. Defense improves. Jared Goff, another year in this system. He already was top 5 last year in multiple categories. You just mentioned the Tom Brady year where he had 32-7. Goff had 28-7, 29-7 last year.
Yeah.
Imagine he has a similar year. Let's say he throws 30-plus touchdowns, right around the same interceptions. He's top 3 in multiple categories. The Lions win 13 games. They're 1 or 2 in the NFC. Plus 4,000, Sam Flannel, are great odds for that. Can you at least see that pathway? I'm not saying they'll win 13 games, but would you be shocked if they do? Because I have them at 11. That's 2 more.
You know what? I actually think it'd be more likely that Jared Goff puts up those kind of numbers, like maybe ups his touchdown passes by 3, gets 32, 8 interceptions. The reason that that Tom Brady won the MVP that year was because the Patriots were the number 1 seed. I think it would take the Lions dethroning the Eagles and the 49ers in the NFC for Jared Goff to even, that's his easiest pathway. If somehow, some way the Lions can get the number 1 seed, that's when you can start the conversation. I just think when you look at the past 10 MVPs, we're talking about some of the best years any quarterbacks have ever had. I just wanted to put it into a little perspective how hard and how exclusive of a club that is, because we're talking about some of the best players to ever play the position. I mean, you're talking about Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Those are 4 of the top 10 quarterbacks ever.
And then there's
And
Matty Ice.
Jared Goff.
Yeah.
But then there's Matty Ice, who had that year he had with Kyle Shanahan. And again, for Jared, he's only 28 years old. It's not like he's over the cliff. He's 38, 39. The guy is 28 years old. Not saying he's elite, but why can't it be Jared Goff? Is my at plus 4,000, Lucas? Why can't it be?
It's almost like I was making these same points you made about Brock Purdy. But, but that got discounted. Is the pathway there? Absolutely. Absolutely it could be there. Is it going to happen? In my opinion, absolutely not. I think the Lions are going to be a little bit more run heavy than they were last year. We've kind of talked about it already on previous shows. The defense is going to be better. We don't think they're going to be in as many shootouts. I think the Lions' running game is going to be kind of what drives this offense. So it's not that Jared Goff can't, but I just don't think it's going to be possible this year. I think the Lions are way too complete of a team on offense and defense for him to really go into that 40-50 touchdown mode. It just does not make sense to me.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll be covering Goff week to week on the Lions pregame show that I'll be hosting weekly. And the Woodward Sports Lions pregame show returns for another season of Lions football. Join WSN host Jeff Eifredi with weekly special guests on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Whether you're sipping the Kool-Aid or kicking off screaming, same old Lions, you will not want to miss this show. Premieres live starting Thursday, September 2nd at 6 p.m. Eastern. Join us all season for an action-packed pregame experience. The Woodward Sports Lions pregame show. Now back to Jared Goff and his MVP odds. Again, I agree with you, Lucas. I think running the ball is going to be a priority there, so I think Jared will have a similar year. But the odds at plus 4,000, think about the difference. Joe Burrow and Jared Goff. I think Joe was, what, plus 700?
Pull it back up. We'll see.
So you have Joe Burrow at plus 700 and Jared at plus 4,000. That's why it's intriguing. Although I'm not betting my entire bank account on it, you can't tell me plus 4,000. There's a pathway. The 49ers, both the 49ers and Eagles, even if they take a little bit of a step back, let's say they win 11, 12 games and the Lions win 13, there's the route. Now, everything has to go right, of course, but I think Jared could do it. I don't think it would be crazy if Jared won MVP. I don't think so.
You wouldn't be sitting here like, if Jared Goff won NFL MVP.
He put up top 5 stats last year. Let's say he increases his touchdown number a couple
if
and
he
they
takes
win
the
more
path,
games.
it wouldn't be crazy. But compared to like the Trevor Lawrences, the Joe Burrows, we don't have to go down the list. You wouldn't be at the end. If Jared Goff won MVP, I would be sitting here like that meme where it's like, I would have no clue what to expect out of it. Like I would be flabbergasted.
Now,
flabbergasted is a perfect word.
Now, let me preface this by saying this. I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe I'd be a little shocked. But again, with the offense he has already in place, right? The offensive line, the weapons. I know J-Mo's out 6 games, and Amon-Ra, we're counting on him to have a big year. I don't think I'd be flabbergasted that Jared Goff, he, again, top 5 in multiple categories last year. If he ups it to top 2, top 3, and they win 13 games, he has to at least be in that discussion. Is that fair?
I mean, if he does, that's a lot of ifs there. I will say that. But you know what though, Jeff? And this is where I sometimes I like to listen to your guys' perspective, and it makes me think about something that I didn't think about before. Because I know when I mentioned that I think Jared Goff has no chance, I was looking at that more not in the betting odds perspective. But one thing that I just kind of had to contextualize while I was sitting here is, are you telling me that Joe Burrow is about 6 times more likely to win NFL MVP than Jared Goff?
6 times.
If he's plus 700 and Jared Goff is plus 4,000, that's what you're saying. I don't think that that's the case, personally.
I do. 100%. 100%. It's not without a doubt.
What? You think Jared Goff, you think Joe Burrow 6 times more likely to win MVP?
Absolutely. I don't. The odds are odds for a reason. Like, Joe Burrow's a better quarterback. He has a better system. He's
no one's denying that.
Proven more in the playoffs. I mean, the
playoffs don't matter.
He has a less complete team around him. He's playing in a tougher division. He's playing in the AFC. So if he comes out and he wins the AFC, no doubt. Like the path for Joe Burrow is set up much easier than Jared Goff.
In the AFC, it's set up much easier.
I think for Joe Burrow, yeah, like Joe Burrow is.
So you're telling me
there's Patrick Mahomes, and right under him is Joe Burrow.
Hold on. So you're telling me in the division he's in the conference he's in, against Patrick Mahomes, it's much easier than Jared Goff in an NFC where the top two teams, there's big questions around them.
I think so, yes.
Okay, well, I disagree. Not
you can
six
agree
times.
to disagree, but
I don't think so.
Joe Burrow's built for it.
No one's saying Joe Burrow's not built. Trust me, I love Joe Burrow.
I get
but
what
I'm telling you, in the NFC, a more wide open conference, the Lions are a top 3, top 4 team. The Bengals as well. They're up there in the AFC. But to me, the pathway would be easier for Jared. Maybe statistically, you'll be like, well, Joe's already done it. But Jared early in his career was putting up numbers. So it's not like he cannot do it. If you're telling me they put up numbers and they win 12, 13 games, like that,
I mean, what do you think?
Crazy.
It's not crazy, but again, it's a lot of what ifs. I think the Bengals, we are all banking on winning 12, 13 games this year. No,
speak for yourself.
You think the Browns are walking out of the AFC North?
So does Kalamazoo doesn't.
But
think
there's more competition in their division.
I think the Bengals, in my opinion, because this is where I think Joe Burrow is 6 times more likely. The Bengals are going to win that division, which in itself I think is more impressive than what Jared Goff is going to do in the NFC, because I think they're a lot, quote unquote, unless anything happens to win the NFC and at least NFC North and at least make the playoffs. And everything in the AFC is for throw up. So if they win the AFC North, Joe Burrow's already a top 2 quarterback in the NFL and the AFC.
I agree with that.
So it's just like Joe Burrow just has to be Joe Burrow again, really, for him to win MVP. That's all he really has to do. Jared Goff has to play above his skill set.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow also doesn't have this whole Lions narrative working against him that Jared Goff has. So that's he has to play to his ceiling, Jared Goff, and then he has to also overcome much more in terms of like the media and everything swirling around him that he already has.
Yeah, I think that Lions storyline, and we'll talk about who that'll favor in a couple of minutes, because I think that is real, the Lions storyline. But my point about Jared is he's thrown over 30 touchdowns already in his career, so I don't think it's like we're sitting here like it's Jimmy G. And we're like, oh, if he has an MVP, like Jared's done it. Like he's thrown 30 plus in his career, and he's had 5,000 yards. Like he's done all of that. So that's my thinking on it. 6 times I don't agree with. That's a lot.
Maybe it's egregious, but I just
maybe you're talking Desmond Ridder. Yeah, 6 times more likely. Like 6 to Jared. I mean, that's a lot.
I mean, I'm assuming there's probably 6 guys in front of Jared, and Joe's probably the favorite right now, if I had to guess. Obviously,
watch. I bet you Fields is above him.
I guarantee Fields is above.